Ganz anders sieht es im Pixie aus, das ich eines Abends gerate, weil dort Ipek Odabashi auflegt. Ich hatte ihre Punk-Frisur, über den Ohren hat sie die Haare abrasiert, zum Anlass genommen, ihr meinen Allman Punk-Aufkleber, den ich zugleich als Flyer benutzte, in die Hand zu drücken, worauf sie mich im Gegenzug zu ihrem DJ-Gig am nächsten Abend einlud. Das Pixie liegt in einer schmalen Gasse, die vom Café Ara den Berg hinunterführt, direkt neben der Siba Bar, die während meiner Monate in Istanbul zum Basislager wird. Gestärkt mit einem ungefilterten Bier aus der Istanbuler Bomonti Brauerei und einem Burger kann es von hier aus weitergehen. Das Pixie besteht aus mehreren Räumen im Keller, deren Funktion nicht ganz klar ist, außer Vorraum für die Toilette zu sein und in denen vor allem junge Männer herumlungern. Überhaupt ist die Frauenquote an diesem Abend nicht hoch, was an der Musik liegen mag. Oben gibt es eine kleine Bar und einen Dancefloor, der nicht größer als 10 Quadratmeter ist. Die DJs stehen in einem kleinen Nebenraum und blicken durch ein großes Fenster aufs Geschehen. Die Kids, sie sind um die 20, wissen wohl, dass hier Schwarzlicht ihre weißen Sweatshirts zum Leuchten bringen wird, also tragen sie alle welche. Die grellweißen Gestalten hüpfen auf und ab zu einer zeitgenössischen Version des ungefähr 160 Beats per Minute schnellen Gabba-Sounds der 1990er mit vehementen Synthi-Klängen und kuriosen Sprachsamples, viele davon auf Deutsch. Eine extreme Musik, die man in Istanbul nicht erwartet und die doch überhaupt nicht deplatziert wird.
So Ulrich, you came to Istanbul with a project in your mind. What was it? Could you tell me about it?
The plan was to be here because I'd never been to Istanbul before when I came in winter. And my subject is German punk, but in this project I wanted also to occupy myself with the question of some Turkish singers that were singing in Germany in the early 80s in the German language. For example, there's a beautiful album by Cem Karaca. I found out that most people in Istanbul don't know about that album. It's a great album. It's an album that was recorded in 1984. Cem Karaca called his band Die Kanaken, which is a very derogatory word for foreigners, especially Turkish immigrants. So he used it as a band name, like in a very punk attitude. And the lyrics are about, it's like political lyrics in a way. It's about the life of Turkish immigrants and other immigrants in Germany in the early 80s. And it's got a lot of typical, as I've learned, Cem Karaca humor in the lyrics. And right now I try to find out how exactly was the role of Cem Karaca in writing those lyrics, because he was not a fluent German speaker. So he did it together with a German colleague, actually.
Which bands or music that you discovered in Istanbul got you really excited?
So the first band I found out about was Necropsy, because I found friends told me that they have a German song. It's called Die Neue Papa. And its lyrics I understand because I don't speak Turkish. And it goes like this. Die Neue Papa ist deutsch. Ist sogar bayerisch. Mein Papa hat gesagt, dass ein Panzer ist. So that translates into English as my papa is my papa is German, he's even Bavarian. My papa said that he's a tank. And so Necropsy, when they play it, they sing it in German and then they sing it in Turkish. And when I saw them in IZKW in November last year, I wanted to hear that song, of course. And I asked my friend Nüket, she's a Necropsy fan too. We went to the first row. She said, we have to go to the first row. How do I do it? I want to hear it if they don't play it. She said, do it like in a traditional Turkish concert where there's like female singers. You write it on a piece of paper, you hand it over to the band, and then they might play it. So that's actually what we did. They didn't play it. So I asked the guitar player after the gig, before the encore, I have something for you. So he took my piece of paper, it said, Die Neue Papa lütfen. And he was smiling and said, oh, I'm so sorry, we haven't played that song for 8 years. I think we cannot play this, and went backstage. So they came back on stage 5 minutes later, and he again came to us and said, I'm so sorry, we cannot play that song. But what they did was they took positions and played Die Neue Papa, and everybody got crazy in IZKW, and we had a lot of fun listening to that song together.
Die neue Papa ist deutsch. Ist sogar almamış, hem de bayaralıymış. Baba bana dedi ki panter gibi adammış.